Good evening. I welcome you to this week's Circle of Harmony. My name is Taru, and the topic today is inner voice. Finding our inner voice, probably knowing what our inner voice is, or maybe just reflecting together what is inner voice. Do we even have an inner voice, or it just I don't know, ego, or just a collective energy trying to move towards something, trying to move us towards something. Because that is true that there is something that tells you, we all must have had such experiences. It feels that we do get some guidance, some push. It's not very strong. Just wanted to reflect on that together, not fully understanding myself, just an exploration that it is there and what to do about it. So before we begin, let's gather ourselves, let's give ourselves some breaths in which we are fully present. So taking some deep breaths in and out, 1 minute of silence, and then we'll start. Yeah. So I don't watch many movies, and yet, somebody was sharing that when they listen to me or hear me talk, it feels I watch a lot of movies. But there was I don't know, I have always been very fascinated and pulled towards books and characters in general, because even say in fiction, like when I was a child, I used to read fiction, like I don't know, book a day sometimes. I used to find it very fascinating because I felt it told me a lot about so many characters and so many emotions and so many, I don't know, how people have different thinkings and how they would react in a certain way. And one thing that is quite evident whenever, I don't know if you watch a movie or if you're reading a book, that somehow we being the reader or the witness of the movie, right? The one who's seeing the movie, we can very easily see that, okay, that person is doing wrong there, or, no, that's his inner calling. He shouldn't go for that person, or he shouldn't go for that job. And yet, when we are living our lives, how often we go for practical, comfortable, non defiance, conformities. Our reasons are usually, my reasons are usually, I don't want to create a ripple, let it be, it's not worth it. But is that okay to be continued? Is something I would want to question for myself. So on the topic of, movies, I had once watched a movie. I think it was a true movie. I don't know the name. It was a movie in which there was there was a pilot, and he was an alcoholic, and he used to take drugs. And once in one such flight, when he was like fully drugged and full of alcohol, although he was still very sharp, something happened, like there was some malfunction in the plane, and he had to land the plane on the ground, like not on a runway, emergency landing. And the way he landed, it was like unbelievable that a regular pilot could not have landed it. And he did that under the influence of alcohol and drugs. But then, a lot of inquiries started. I think there were 80 people on the plane and four died. But he saved 76. I mean, that was a miracle in itself. So people were both in awe, and yet, the inquiries were regular and he was getting a lot of light, and his alcoholism also kept surfacing, which he kept hiding. And then they show how, how the whole movie was about that he's trying to say that, oh, I'm so cool and I'm so smart, and I was the one who could do it, nobody else could do it. So in the end, of all those lyings and deceits and I don't know, all the things, like so much he paid under the table to get the evidence out, because, when they tested him after that, like he was injured too, they did find a substantial alcohol level in his blood. He got the reports kind of out of admission that it was done without his permission and stuff. So in the end, when everything was done, he was all clear. They asked him one last question. Like, in on the flight, there were two air hostesses, the stewardess, who died because, they were trying to help people. So they were not buckled in, and that's the reason why they died. So in one of the trash cans, which was just accessible to the crew. Oh, the audio is breaking. Is it breaking for everybody? Should I try something else?
Yeah, it is breaking.
Uh, is this better?
Yeah, now it is better.
Okay, should I start from the beginning or could you hear me?
No, we could hear, but
Yeah,
a
do
lot
let.
of disturbance was there.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah, so sorry. So there was a trash bin that they found which was accessible just to the crew, in which they found, two small bottles of some, a vodka. So then they just asked one question to him, the last one. He was totally cleared of everything. That if you didn't drink, you say you didn't drink, you don't drink. So that means, the other students who also had some history of alcoholism who died. So she must have had those drinks, right? And all he had to say was, I don't know, or maybe, or yes, right? Like, yes, that sounds likely. She was already gone. She could not have confronted him. He just had to say, I don't know or yes. And he was clear. He was free to live his life. And he just couldn't say that. So, fast forward, they show him in the jail for years and years because on four counts of it's still breaking. I don't know what's happening. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you are audible to me.
Okay. So continuing with the short story that I've made it so long. So, fast forwarding him, they took him. The next scene was that he's in the jail and he's talking to the fellow prisoners. And he shared that I just couldn't speak one more lie. And he had spoken so many of those. Like the movie was like, oh my God, the lies, the pretense, the things he had done to hide all the things he was doing, it was shocking. And you know how we regard such people, like they don't have any conscience, like they can just do anything. And that was so evident. And yet, and I think it's a true story, that person, because he just couldn't say yes or maybe to that last sentence. And as a result, he was jailed for years. And he said that I just couldn't speak one more lie. And he said the weirdest thing is that for the first time in my life, I feel free. Like, although I am behind bars and it feels so strange, but I've never felt so free outside as I feel free now because I don't have to lie anymore. It's all out there. So that also was a big of a jolt for me, right? That how there's no logic, right? Like it just felt that okay, it was his time to stop speaking. I don't know the lies. He had had enough. So even if we feel that somebody's operating from, I don't know, a very bad center, like Monica had shared in the morning something about asura in us and the devas in us. So it was their time to stop. So it kind of hit me quite hard that that's it. He just couldn't speak another lie. Like there is something that tells us, there's something, the force that is guiding us. Are we listening? How do we listen? Any comments before we share the poster? There isn't much on it today, but a lot of reflections are there. Any comments on this or inner voice in general? How do we hear our inner voice? What is our inner voice?
Yeah, Taru, as you were sharing in this, starting, we do hear the inner voice, but we always, at least I feel whether it is my ego, whether it is my desire, whether it is my want to do something very badly, that is why my mind is saying that, or it is real, we don't know. If we want to buy something, our mind will make all this drama, to buy that. Sometimes the mind will be calm, but this is for just example, but I'm saying most of the time I'll get confused whether it is my ego or it is real voice which I'm able to hear. So in this confusion, so many times I used to have this confusion. You have brought in beautifully today, but even I want to have more clarity. We do not know which is correct. Yeah, if I do, then if I'm happy, sometimes it might be really my inner call or inner voice, but I never try to do that. I'll be always in a dilemma whether I'm hearing correctly or I have to do or I should not do it. So this inner voice is always a question mark for me. So I hope I'll have some clarity today. I was so happy seeing the topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Sham, anything?
Uh, can't really say, but many times we have that intuition, that gut feeling that we should go this way. Okay. And it may be a path less traveled by, or what you call a dejected path. But if we go, we really discover ourselves. Maybe something which we wouldn't have known about oneself or ourselves.
Sham,
Like Robert, like Robert Frost also says now that two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference, and that has made all the difference. So even while I have traveled many a times, the road less traveled by or the road not taken, and I did discover many things that I was too daring, I was too bold, I was able to do many things which otherwise I couldn't have done. Maybe it was the childishness in me, or whatever you can say, or the rashness in me, and it has survived in some measures to even this day when I have crossed 30.
yeah.
Ma'am, you were telling something?
Yeah, I was saying that that day in one of the sessions, I think maybe
Huh.
with Savitri, you had shared that how you had met somebody for the first time.
Yeah.
What was like just again reflecting on that together? Would you like to share that here as
Yeah,
well?
I will tell you, ma'am. Actually, he was a guy called Akshay Puri. Okay,
Mm.
and I didn't know him. He don't know me. Okay, just we met casually on that day. You remember that episode?
Yes, yes, Yes.
Okay, I had such a many such episodes. Another episode I had with a Nari Jyotish astrologist. Okay, astrologer. Okay, so I didn't know him. He didn't know me. Okay, so all of a sudden, while he was sitting in the TV room, okay, and he was wearing a white shirt, t-shirt, and that day I remember what I was also wearing. Normally, I don't remember my clothes, what I'm wearing. Okay, but I just tapped on to him and I just asked him casually, "Shall I open my video?"
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you.
I just asked him casually that Akshay ho kya? Like tapping on his shoulders. Normally I won't talk to a stranger or anything of that sort. So he told me, huh? Then I just said that Akshay Puri.
Shyam, your voice is breaking. Your
Am I
voice is
audible to you,
breaking. Not
ma'am?
able
Yeah, for me, it's fine. I don't know what's happening.
Just okay.
I'm not able to, hear you properly, Shyam.
Just hold on. Let me go. Shall I take the earpods in?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine.
Sorry.
No, no. I mean, of course. So basically, he has been sharing, he had shared it before that he had walked into the room one day, when he was in college, and he saw a person sitting in the TV room, and he just knew about that person, and the person knew a lot about him, and they had never met before. So they knew each other's names, they started talking, they knew about each other's, parents, where they are from, and it was very weird. Like he had never kind of experienced that before. So,
Mm.
and how it's not about just knowing, but how he was just sharing that how he was even prompted to have a conversation with him. That he said he never usually, we don't go and just tap people on their shoulders, right? Like
Mm. Mm.
him prompted him to reach out.
Mm.
So yeah, I just thought that too. I mean, I'm reminded of it right now. That what is that? How do these things also happen? But like no answers, just reflecting together. Yeah.
Now am I audible?
Yeah, now much better.
Okay.
Thank
So I should do with this earpod. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So just I tapped on to him and I told him that, are you Akshay? Then he told me yes. Then I called him that, are you Akshay Puri? Then he told me yes. Then I told him that, then he asked about me, about my identity. Then I told him that I am Shyam. Then I asked him that, are you from the mechanical branch? And he told me yes. And he was a year junior to me. I mean to say that I had never met him, never come across him, I had never seen him, never ever talked to him either formally or informally. Means we were aliens and we were foreigners to one another. Then again, I asked him that, are you that?
What prompted you? If you could go on the other side, like you're telling us what happened, right?
Mhm.
What prompted you to reach out to him, and if there's something on that you can share?
Maybe I had that feeling that I had known him before,
Okay.
although I didn't know him before. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for example, your number a friend had given me around 6 months back, and I had just stored it in my mobile phone. I had never never called you or anything or never. Then all of a sudden on 10th January, I just texted you this year. That's
Mm,
how I came to know you about your organization and everything.
yeah.
So and that too, it was that timing that I was affected for Corona the second time, and I was holed up in my house. I had nothing to do. All of a sudden, out of blue, I just WhatsApped you that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe it was 10th of January and 11th of January happened to be my birthday.
Yeah, it was
The
your
first
birthday.
time.
Yeah.
You remember I told you that?
When you spoke about your birthday, I remember. Mhm.
So
Just
you can never say
something.
that.
Yeah, that is
Ano-
the organ.
another incident that I had with a with a Pandit ji who there is called Nadi Jyotisham that is practiced somewhere in Chennai and in that Tamil Nadu area, and that there's one called Nagapattinam district where they do it, where the Agastya Rishi he had written written the Bhagya of, I think she wants to speak.
No, no. place is called Vaidishwaran Kovil.
Yeah, Vatishwaran Kovil. Yeah, exactly. I concur with you. Yeah. I will tell you how it happened. Just when out of blue, when I had gone on a very long leave, say maybe 7 or 8 months, I just one day happened to walk into this Nari Jyotisham thing. Okay, and he told me I didn't want to. I don't believe in astrology. I had what you call largely I had been. I won't call myself an atheist, but I had been somewhat agnostic. Okay, while all the other people they are all god believing and devout worshippers, a majority of the people except but me and one more, my second sister. So just I happened to walk into that Nadi Jyotisham and he told me that you need to pay me 2500. Okay, so my sister only nudged me that you go to that astrologer, he will tell you that why your dreams have not fructified till this date. And when I went here to him, he could tell me almost all the events that had happened in my life till now. He was also able to tell me about my past life, about my father, how my mother died. That also he was able to tell me that your mother earlier had cervical cancer and she was treated at TMH and later that is Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. And later she was what you call after 4 years her cancer relapsed and then she had that metastasis in her head and then what you call her lungs cancer was also in a very advanced stage. So he was able to tell me all the things one by one about my education, my training, my upbringing, everything. He was able to tell me that in when I was a child, I had diarrhea. That also he was able to tell me what we call. Like,
About these are facts, right? But what does this mean? I mean, did it mean anything to you, or you? It's just okay. This has happened. That's all, right?
I don't know, ma'am, but what you call when he was speaking all these things, ma'am, I was what you call I was shivering like anything.
Okay. Yeah.
So never I had shivered ever in the what you call in my stage 30 years of my life ever. And it really sent shudders down my spine that how would someone whom I didn't know all these intimate details about of my life,
Yeah.
something that many of my what you call my sisters or my brother won't know or my father or my parents won't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to tell my family name, my goth, my everything, the family from which I had descended and everything. And it was what do you call it? It was very weird to me because it was the first time that I had ever experienced, like Madam Sharda was telling, it was for the first time that I had ever experienced in all these years of my life.
Yeah.
I will remove it. I'm not comfortable with that.
Mm.
But it was a what you call it was a once in a lifetime experience. Never ever did I experience that. And when what you call वो होता है ना रोंगटे खड़ा हो जाने वाला चीज होता है. Then मेरे रोंगटे खड़े हो गए थे जब मैं उनकी बात सुन रहा था. In fact, I have never believed in astrology and all these things like that, palmistry and all these things.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sham. So basically,
And he was able to guess the correct name of my girlfriend also, that your girlfriend's name is Anshul Sahni, and he was so correct in that. Okay.
yeah. So in
The finer intimate details that no one would ever know means other than me or
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know how it happened, but it was an experience worth remembering.
Okay, I think coming back to the topic now, moving on. Uh, I'm assuming Snehi can't unmute. She was just typing. If he can, and if there's anything, Snehi, please do share. I'll share the poster in the meanwhile. I think like Sahadaji was saying, one thing is that, if there was just one voice or two voices, maybe two, three voices, one could still try to make their way in, right? But there are just so many voices, and there are just so many conditioning, so many situations, so many do's and don'ts, that it feels that it's very tough. And yet, we have experienced the inner voice. We have experienced something that tells me, that gently nudges, right? That not here or not this. And even very, very silly things like, that day somebody had texted me a number, a phone number, that called me on this number, a person I've never met. And I saw the number, and there was a voice that said, "This number is wrong." And I was like, "What do you mean it's wrong?" I called the number, and the person said, "You've got the wrong number." So then I texted, and he said, "Oh, yeah, the last digit is wrong." Like, what's the use of this? Like, I don't know. I mean, but that something new, that number is wrong. But again, like how Sham was sharing, that some things just are, which we don't know the what's or the whys. So again, they, like in this poster again, Rumi says that there is a voice that does not use words. Listen. Oops. How hard it is for me to listen to a voice that does not use words, when there are so many other voices with loud words and warnings are in my head as well. So I think again and again, I know maybe it sounds cliche, but the importance of some silence and stillness or being mindful comes into play, right? Like we were discussing in the beginning, that how when we are watching a movie or a book, how easy it is for us to say that this character should do that, or he shouldn't be doing that. We can see that so clearly, black and white. But probably the reason why we are not able to see our own things is because there's just too much there. So, like, again, here, like if we're just looking at these things that are being said, we are told that if you have a family, if you have a job, if you have a home, then you are settled. Your life is set. But is my life really ever set? Do I feel that? But that is the belief that a lot of us carry, right? That is a belief that we are told. Okay, unless you're married, no, 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 life is not set. You don't have your own home. No, 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 life is not set, right? No family, no set life. Have heard it, but have I ever seen this to be true? Is it true for me? If yes, good. I mean, I haven't met anybody who would say yes, but if yes, good. But if no, then I cannot keep believing in this and keep following this, because then I'm going down roads which are taking me nowhere. The second one being, ambition. You need to be ambitious and aggressive to have a good career, and then you'll get money, and that money would make you happy. Does it? Has it made other people really happy or joyous or content? We have shared this several times, right? That I don't know, it was so there's so many, I don't know, Jim Carrey and another Hollywood actor, Keanu Reeves, maybe, I don't remember who had said that, I think it was Jim Carrey, that I wish, I pray that everybody gets, billions of dollars, so that they know that this is not it. it we feel it will be, but if I look at my own self, it's not. I feel that company will make me complete, and we have felt very lonely. I mean, in parties, among a lot of people. Then how is that definition working? What is my wish list? Is peace Number one, no, that's not true. Although I would say I want peace. Is that true? Is that true? Is that really true? That do I go for peace whenever I have a choice? You know, the other day I was listening to something really beautiful. I'll just see if I can find it. Oh. It was there were some 8 verses on thought transformation. That how we have to transform our thoughts. And one of the verses, I think maybe the 5th verse, was about defeat. Again, we were just we taking up failure last week, so it was close to my, quite in my radar of things, that why is it so difficult for me to accept defeat and let other win, even if I'm having some argument? Why is it not okay? Here it is. So it was number 5. So when others out of jealousy or anything else maybe mistreat me with abuse, slander, and so on, I will practice accepting defeat and offering the victory to them. Like you read this or you hear this, and it's like your mind stands up to revolt, right? That how is that possible? Why will I let the other win? If I let the other win, then what about me? Then he'll take me for granted. Then he'll think I'm weak. But so often while we are fighting, there's something in us that says that, why are you fighting? I don't listen to that voice most often. Lot of times when I'm fighting, I can see that I am not right. And yet, because I've started the fight, I have to keep going on. I cannot accept defeat. And here it's saying that let the other win in the small, 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 small things of everyday life, which mean nothing. Everything is relative, as we have discussed, but there's an internal conflict that seems to be happening. A very small voice that would say that, okay, let it be, which I would listen to if peace of mind is number one on my list. But because it isn't proving and being right, the right which keeps changing, right? Even for me. In this chanting session this week, we had taken up the chant Astoma Sadgamaya. So in that, Asat, we were reflecting on Asat and Sat. So Sat, according to the Upanishads, is something that never changes, right? Which is true in all the 3 times. Something which is true in the past, right now, and will be true in eternity. What fight that I have ever fought is true, will be true in eternity. I don't know. I cannot remember any. They are so petty. And yet they feel big. I don't know, listening to something or where I read it, it said that our eyes are like microscopes. They make everything big. So similarly, I was feeling, even, of course, that's true for almost everything. Everything becomes bigger when it's related to me. Somebody said something, I'll make it big. I saw something, I'll make it big. I hear something, I'll make it big. How about reversing the process now? Can I try to do that? Because I think, again, I know we discussed this last time, but again and again, thing comes about, what am I fighting for? Is it worth the fight? Or is my life just going to waste in The small things which don't matter, which will not even matter maybe after 2 hours or 2 days or 2 months, that I'm fighting for like a mad person right now. I'll stop for a minute in case anything from anybody. I've spoken a lot in length. Yeah, so again, I was on this, my wish list piece. Is my wish list, does my wish list has peace of mind? And if yes, do I remember that when I'm, fighting my small battles, which appear to be big, which I can see now are not big because I've seen them so many times. So just sitting with ourselves and making that thing that what is important to me. And if this is important to me, I have to put more effort, more aspiration into it. So the other one is be practical, follow logic, usefulness over beauty, right? Always, always, always usefulness over beauty. Yeah, I feel I really want to do this, but this is practical, right? Let's just do that. I really love that, but this is easy, right? Let's just do that. I mean, we have had exceptions in our life when we have actually gone for something that we felt was a calling. We have done that. And yet, in the everyday, I always choose practical over beauty. Or my calling. Any reflections on this? I think this is really an important point, and somehow one feels that no, I don't do that. Is that true? Again, that quote from Khalil Gibran that the lust for comfort, we lust for comfort. So the lust for comfort kills the passion of the soul. What is he saying when he's saying that? Any reflections? Also, pulled up one of my most favorite quotes from Sri Aurobindo, where he says that there is a tendency in modern times to depreciate the value of the beautiful and overstress the value of the useful. So he further says that in India, where we have been cut off by a mercenary and soulless education from all our ancient roots of culture and tradition, it is corrected only by the stress of imagination, emotion, and spiritual delicacy, submerged but not yet destroyed in the temperament of the people. So we still have hope. But in my everyday, do I not always choose what is practical, what is useful, then what I'm really loving? Any thoughts? Anything? I just want to say that we have to really look and question and try to change, right? We owe it to ourselves Now that we are questioning, we are asking the right questions, the next time when we have a choice, we have to try, right, to see where I'm finding that joy and not which is giving me comfort. Okay, so the next one is like, my salary, my car, the size of my house, the clothes I wear, error in the clothes, spelling mistake. That defines my worth. I don't know if that is true, then why is it that if I look at a monk or a nun, I feel so like, that air of wow. And of course, so many other questions can be asked. Yes, Sartaji.
Yeah, we think that, my big house and big car and expensive clothes will give me happiness. But once I possess, maybe I understand, we understand that this is not real happiness. That is why we feel very, nice to see all monks and saints, people who are very simple. We think will get something through all these, but when we go there, we know that we don't get anything. We just possess, that's all. That maybe it's an attitude of possessing everything. So after possessing, we understand that this is not a real happiness. That's why we want to have more. And when you said this peace of mind, and you also shared a screen saying that if somebody in an argument, if somebody else's win, we should be able to accept it gracefully. We should be able to feel happy for somebody else's victory. But we do accept, but not with happiness. Even at home, even between sisters or between husband wives, when we talk, we always feel that what I'm saying is right. The other person is also feeling that what he or she is saying is right. But when the argument, goes to beyond certain point, we feel that, it's okay. Whatever he says will be correct. Let be so be it. But the mind is not accepting, no? The mind feels very defeated. So many times we see it at home, even mother-daughter or any relationship. But where that peace of mind goes that time? This is a beautiful question. I always think about that, but very, very nice. You have, brought it uh, very, very nicely.
Peace of mind goes because something else I'm giving more weightage to than peace. That is absolutely clear, right?
But we are not able to feel it when we
Yeah.
feel
Somebody
defeated.
accuses you, right? I say that, oh my,
Mhm.
you're a horrible person, right?
Mm. Mm.
One thing could be that, okay, she thinks I'm horrible. But no, let me have my peace. Or, how mother says, they just think that, am I horrible? One can reflect on it in peace. And if there's something I can change about myself, I can. Or I say that, no, that I don't agree with that peacefully. But
Mm.
there's something in me which wants to say, it wants to be looked nice, right? Like I am a nice person. I should be respected. I should be, these shoulds, which seem so obvious and basic, right? But pursuing these shoulds, that everybody should understand me. Everybody should know that I mean well. I am a nice person. I feel like a nice person, and everybody should know that. But in me wanting everybody to know that, what am I doing to my own peace of mind, right? Lots of time I am losing it.
Sorry, Taru, can you please come again? I couldn't get it fully.
Okay, say for example,
Mm.
I am a non-violent person, right?
Mm.
If somebody says I'm violent, I
Mm.
will use violence to prove to them that no, I'm non-violent.
Okay, okay.
That's true, right? That if somebody
Yeah,
says
yeah.
you're a very irritable person,
Uh,
and I'll be like, are you mad? Do you not see how calm I am? I don't see the idiocracy in this, because for me, for my ego self, that proves that everybody should love me, everybody should respect me. I should be considered a nice person. That need is there, right? That need is there for the ego to feel that acceptance, and this is the image I carry of me, and everybody should accept and believe in the same image.
True.
Peace of
Yeah.
mind can wait, right?
Mm.
That regard, just sharing, because you're so beautifully, you share your experiences. Lot of times when you're sharing about, say, the people you speak to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You're always, there's something that we want from these people, right? And if we are not getting that, if they're misunderstanding us, why does it bother us if I understand myself? Or is it that I don't understand myself fully? I don't even see myself fully. And that is why I'm always out there wanting, ki, okay, now you are a good person. Is my voice not enough? Or do I have a voice that says, yes, I'm doing okay? Because every time I am judgmental, or I shout, or I'm angry, or I am irritable, or snappy, that means something is not right somewhere, right? I have already lost my peace of mind. So either I can further accentuate the situation and be more of it and say, this world is bad, or I can see how I lost it and quickly go and find it. So I have to, like everything else is on my priority list. Yesterday, I was attending a live session with Jetsun Mala, and somebody asked a question that, I have this practice and I want to do this practice, but say every morning, almost every morning when I wake up, something or the other comes and I'm not able to practice. What to do? And it was a long question. So the first thing that Jetsun Mala said that, if I were to tell you, if somebody was to tell you that you will die if you do not do that 20 minutes, 30 minutes of practice, do you think you'll let anybody interrupt your practice? Do you think you will, have other things occupy the time which you had set aside for your practice? If it was a sure thing that yes, you will die if you do not practice every day, the answer is no. So obviously, if I'm losing my peace of mind, that means it's not the utmost important thing for me. I remember, I might have shared this before, the first time I had met Acharya Prashant, personally. Back then, he wasn't that popular, and it was possible for people to get, one-to-one time with them. Like, it feels like a dream. But, the one thing that stuck with me that he told me in that 1 hour talk that I had with him, he said, let everything be, like, let people say what they want to, let the world be the way it wants to, but if somebody is taking your peace, or if something is taking your peace, fight like a lioness who's fighting to protect her cub. Like, this is how you should protect your peace of mind. And lot of times I realized later, which I didn't realize then, because when he shared that with me, I realized that I thought that I have to fight others for my peace. And I don't know, I am a fighter. I'm very highly motivated, especially with the freedom movement and everything. And at everything, I take out my sword like a Rani ki Jhansi and I'm ready to argue. But it was years later that I realized that I have to fight myself for my peace of mind. Yes, Sham, please.
Yeah, do you often quote that Article 21, right to life and personal liberty? Because I often quote in my argument.
No, I'm not as well read as you, Sham. I wasn't even aware of the number or the
No,
article.
but I would often quote it in my arguments with anyone. Article 21, right to life and personal liberty.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you for sharing that. I'll add it to my list of arguments, which I don't want to have. Yeah, so my struggle for peace is a lot with me, is what I was just trying to say. Yes, Ardaji, please, anything on this?
Yeah, when what you shared is, very, very, it touched me because we always think that we have to fight with others, which is very easy. But when we fight with ourselves, it is very difficult because, first of all, we should know what is wrong with us. In Mother also, in prayers, I have a book, Mantras of the Mother. That Mother also shares, there is a great courage in uh, something like that. I read it in Tamil. So now it is very important to know ourselves, to fight with ourselves, not with the outside world, which is very, very beautiful. When you said you have to fight like a lioness, what did you say, Taru? Can you please repeat it again?
Said that when it comes to your peace, fight like a lioness who's fighting to protect her cub. She would kill you if you come near her cub. So accept everything, accept it. It's fine. You win, you do this. If it's coming to your peace of mind, you have to fight like a lioness while when she's fighting to protect her cub.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I don't know where the cub goes when somebody, accuses me of a small thing.
Mm. Mhm.
When I feel they're misunderstanding me, trivial things. I just, peace of mind. I don't even remember what it is, right? A lot of times I'm like, I'll tell you, how dare you? I must stop. I must see this that I am not valuing it. So at least I can be honest with myself, right? At least that's where I can start knowing my dishonesties. Because on the paper, it feels nice to write, right? In an article or just to tell myself. And when you were sharing, Abhi, they say fighting with others, it's so easy because I feel that I feel I'm doing the right thing that gives me the motivation, or I feel like a victim. The world is bad and I have to fight the world. But when I'm fighting with myself, which is the real battle, then I don't get to play these stories and these dramas, right? Then it gets real. If I continue to do this, my life will continue to be like this. Do I want this or do I want to change? And if I want to change, I'll have to put a lot of effort because the fight is against myself. Again, this one, be a voice, not an echo. Maybe this is Rumi again. I'm not sure. An echo just repeats and it's usually much less in intensity than a voice. A lot of times when there is this inner voice, it's different, it's new, it's saying things which are not really conforming to the norms or practicalities or comfort. Echoes are just everywhere. 10 people shout and 10 echoes come, and it gets confusing which voice was mine, which echo is mine. So I can just believe any echo, like compete, win, success, repeat. It's an echo of the collective. Is it my echo? Was it my voice it was echoing? The inner voice, they say, I was reading something from the mother also, it lacks force. It's the gentlest direction that, okay, say I am in a new country and I'm looking for an apartment, say. Okay, so I have friends living in one city, but there is a lake in the other city. And there's something in me which is saying that, oh, I love water so much. The water calls me. I don't know, I've always had this fascination with water. But if I live in a city where my friend already is, it will be so much useful for both of us, especially for me because I'm new. It's so practical. It makes sense. And while that, a little voice is saying that, no, but I really love water. But I mean, it could sound so silly right now, like so silly that what are we even talking about, right? But just an example of how we keep shunning these voices because we want life to be easy. We want things to make, just be more comfortable. Then at least we can stop saying that, no, no, I do what my heart says. Do I? I don't think so. Especially as kids, I think, a lot of times, when people would ask, I remember, I think I was 5 or 6 year old. I remember where I was standing, somebody asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a painter. And they said, do you paint? I said, not really. He said, so whenever you paint well. And I said, no. And that was it, right? Just that question that, okay, I don't paint too much and I'm not a good painter anyways. Oh, so that means I cannot be a painter. That was it. That was what turned me towards something else because I remember sharing them with a lot of excitement. I want to be a painter. So, trivial things is where we are losing our life. Sometimes we feel that everything has to be larger than like the big decisions are what matters. They do matter, but the small things in which these small guides, these small directions come. I always choose usefulness, practicality, comfort, convenience over, I don't know, a natural affinity, a small calling. And if I really loved myself, I wouldn't do that to myself. Uh, Please, I'm sure this is not just my story. I'm sure you would have experienced similar things too. Anybody, please, anything to share on this?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if we look at ourselves, yes, so many times, and most of the times, we're choosing practicality, usefulness over beauty. But then, even when we look at ourselves guiding our children, at that time also it feels, no, this is more practical, you should do this. And if they're talking about something which is sounding dreamy, so we would say that, oh, this is not possible, you are not grounded, come back to life, it only happens in movies. So there is no end to it. I mean, it's a circle. I think we grew up that way and we continue to be that way, and we want people around us to be that way. Although, yes, we do appreciate people who would do something different and who would not follow this path of practicality. It sounds very fascinating and nice. But when it comes to us, then it's very difficult to make that choice of choosing something like this.
Yeah. Again, we were discussing with you in the beginning that how in movies, say, I think all of us would have seen the movie Three Idiots, right? Like how easy it is for us to, wish that, oh, no, 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 don't give away your dreams, right? Don't give up your dreams. No, no, no. And yet, like you shared, that when we see somebody else very passionate about something, we're like, wow. And I think if I don't choose that for myself, then I just need to also know that then I would accept discontentment. I cannot keep choosing comfort and monotony and practicality and then say that, why does life feel monotonous? Why does it feel that I'm missing something, I'm lacking something? Then if at least there is honesty there, कि नहीं, I'm choosing this. So I have to see that with this, with the conformity comes monotony, discontentment. चलता है ना? Why to even, rock the boat? So I think that is important. Then I cannot say कि नहीं नहीं ये भी चाहिए वो भी चाहिए वो सब then cannot be there, right? That reminds me that I don't even know it fully. That how there's a story that Guru Nanak's father, he had left the field to him, and he had said that you have to kind of not let the birds eat from the field, the crop. And when he came, he was, when his father came, Guru Nanak, they say, was just sitting and just smiling, and all the birds were very happily eating the crop. And then that famous couplet, na, कि राम की चिड़िया राम का खेत, खा ले चिड़िया भर भर पेट, or something in that effect. Then I'm giving away that crop, right? That could mean that I might not have enough to feed my family, but for that moment, that felt right. How practicality stares you in the face, and yet you don't know how to be that practical. That state would also come. Maybe it's also happening. And Sardaji, I had shared the screen again because when we were talking about this training of the mind,
Yeah.
transformation of the thoughts, you had said that if he wins, we should be happy for them. But here it's saying, at least it's going even beyond that. It's saying
Mhm.
practice accepting defeat and offering victory to them. If somebody say in an argument is saying that this is how you should do it, and I would say that I would try to counter that, but here it's saying, I would say that, all right, if that's what you think, fine, I'm happy for you. Maybe I don't even have to say that. I can just practice silence, but it's not
Beautiful.
being happy in their victory. I'm giving in their victory that I stand back. Fine. Okay, be it. So how thought provoking this is, right? How paradoxical to how I have been told to live.
Taru, can you please share this in the group? Yeah.
Yeah, and just remind me if I don't, because I keep saying yes to you and I forget.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. I will practice accepting defeat
Yeah.
and offering the victory to them. Okay. This is beautiful.
I
Yes.
think when we accept defeat,
Hmm.
we don't have to have the last word. We don't have to prove our case. We don't have to make sure that everybody understands that we are right and the other person is wrong. It means letting go of ego's need to prove itself and be the conqueror. Because every time I'm saying I won, who won and why, right? It's just the ego. Not proving our case. It sounds so like there's something in me that kind of protested when it read it for the first time, right? Because it feels ke, अरे ऐसे कैसे? How do I do that? Then to, first of all the dramas of the relationships would go, right? Nobody needs to understand that we are right. There's no right. Okay, fine. Giving them the, yeah, I think that's the main thing. But there are a lot of commentaries on this, really beautiful. That why do we feel this? How, and I think Jetsunmala also had shared on this same commentaries. She said that, say, I could never understand that if there's say a match, a football match, a cricket match, then everybody is playing, and they play like really well. Why can't we just be happy that whoever won? Okay, somebody won, somebody lost, and it was so much fun to play the game. But no, we are like, we want winning. We want, as a society, so she said we could laugh on this, our need to not be defeated, our need to think this is defeat. When we see that, maybe we can just, smile or laugh at it. Not, she said, not in a bad way. Actually, a laugh that, oh, see where I'm going with this. Oh, I think defeat will make me less. How beautiful is that? Anything from anybody?
Yeah, I'm just reminded of that Hindi movie. What was it called? Kajol and Shah Rukh Khan, wherein she asks her dad for 1 month from her life to do whatever she feels like. You
DDLJ.
remember?
DDLJ.
Yeah, DDLJ. So it's strange, no? I mean, it's her own life. She can live it the way she wants to, but then she begs and pleads her dad कि मेरी जिंदगी में से मेरे को 1 महीना दे दो. The same thing happens with us too. We just keep living a life in a very practical manner, and then we go for a holiday, let's say 10 days, and we feel, oh, now this is the time we can do anything we feel like. And then we come back and then we get into the grill again. So we see all this, but still we keep doing all this. So it sounds a little sad.
Yeah. I think I know somehow, this is going in a bit of, जैसे अभी the conversation is going a bit gloomy. I feel like it's kind of something wrong is happening. But I think this seeing also is really required, even if it makes us sad. Na? When I'm seeing these things, when I'm observing these things, like you shared, right? DDLG, you must have seen, I don't know, 20 years back. And yet that stayed with you, right? So that means there was something in you that resonated with that line. And you couldn't do anything about it then, right? You didn't know what it means. It happens to us. But what about right now? Yes, please.
Yeah, right now also it's a bit similar, only the same patterns.
No, I was saying कि तब तो शायद कुछ करने की पॉसिबिलिटी भी ना हो, है ना, पता ही नहीं होता कि करना क्या है. But should we keep doing these checks, say every 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, 2 months? Ki, can I do something about it now? That day, I felt so strongly that, Kajal, when I heard that she was saying this dialogue, and I was like, yeah, yeah. But is it still true for me right now that I have to ask for 1 month to live my life?
Yeah,
If
I think it's still true. Still, we are living the same life only. That's why I think we see larger than life movies wherein we see people doing a lot of fascinating things, unbelievable and brave and adventurous things. We try and live those things through the movies, that okay, it's so fun to be adventurous. But when it comes to our own self to be adventurous, then we don't want to be adventurous. We want to play safe.
yeah. And then that safety gives us something, right? It gives us some comfort, some stability, supposedly, right? So I was just
Yeah.
that then I see it's like, say, when I take something, I don't see the whole picture. है ना? जैसे if I pick up a coin, if I'm picking up heads, heads means stability, safety. Then monotony and non-adventure are the tails of the same coin. So I keep picking up heads of that coin and I say I don't want tails. वो नहीं हो पाएगा, है ना? If I keep making the same decisions, the same quality of choices, and if I'm now at least just able to see that, okay, I'm picking this up and this would mean this, then that is also a step beyond than me just picking up that coin, right? Because now at least I know, then I will not be able to blame anybody, complain, because I am the one picking up that coin again and again, which has that head, which has that tail. I cannot say I'll pick up this head, but tail मुझे किसी और coin का चाहिए, वो नहीं हो पाएगा, है ना? I think that's why, all of the masters and the mystic, they have had really big titles for the people on this path, right? Like Kabirji says, a Surma, the mighty warrior. Sri Aurobindo says the Aryan spirit, the Aryan. And there are so many others I don't remember right now. A seeker, as in you have to have the courage to not go on the on the paths that is traveled. You need to have if you want things to change. I think that is the first pretext. If we are okay with the way things are, फिर तो इस सब conversations ही बेकार हैं, right? They are not useful, they are not needed for us. That if I feel that life has to be more, should be more, then there are opportunities, there are other windows that maybe I can try. It is hard. It is always hard to not choose comfort. But I feel, how when they say that live while you're alive and die before your death, I think it keeps coming to me again and again, so that when death comes, there's nothing left, that you've already lived so much that but in my quest for comfort, I exist a lot, again in a very defined, well-defined way. But am I living? I don't know. Living, yes, but I am, Again, that reminds me that prayer from the chanting Astu Ma Sadgame, and that also, how it was. It was basically, it came out that how we are always looking for limits, right? So when it's saying that take me from mortality to immortality, so that in me which just keeps feeling that this is me, this is my role, this is my society, this is how I should live it. Let me drop that. Take me from this limitedness to the unlimited that I already am, that I am covering from myself. Like that very famous example of Hanumanji, that he had to be reminded that you already have the power. You have forgotten. It could sound like a play of words.
No, you are sounding great and enchanting. Please carry on, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, Sham, you
That's what I call. I fully concur with you. Okay, I'm in total agreement with you that until and unless you explore the unknown, okay, you won't know that what lies behind you and what lies sideways. Okay, then that is like that dialogue. Yeah, either you fall in line or you fall by the wayside. Okay, but but other than these two possibilities, there can be a vast number of possibilities. Other than falling in line and falling by the wayside, there can be many other possibilities which we are never able to explore, kind of, or we are never able to comprehend, kind of. The reason is that right from the very, what you call, very formative years, we are taught like do the balancing act, find the middle path, and try to get that what you call Aristotle's mean, Aristotle's golden mean. Okay, and in the quest for all this, we somewhere kill our innovation, our what you call out of the box thinking, and all those things. So I was able to speak all those things. I was able to connect to many things in my own life. Okay, and what you call many events that happen in my what you call an extremely famous Chachaji's life. Okay, that how he was able to take part in Naxalbari movement. He was able to do daredevil things, and when he was and when he was all of a sudden when he was thrown from his what you call thrown from the society and community, he had to work in a what you call ईंट की भट्टी होती है ना, that brick kiln. He had to work over there for 3 years in Munger district of Bihar, and then he was again able to resurrect his life. Okay, like resurrect his life, like he then changed his name by an affidavit, and he took admission again in master's degree program of DU, and then he again slowly and steadily he was able to get a scholarship to Oxford, and he completed his DPhil, and later on he was able to resurrect his life in a very good manner. So I stayed with him for close to 4 years of my life, and many things I could imbibe, and I was able to enact that when I was myself a student at college. So, like I had shared once that I got rusticated twice. So I was able to know that at the end of the day, whether it is a Manipal degree or whether it is a IGNOU degree, it is what you call it is a graduation bachelor's degree only. And suppose if I don't waste my father's money, someone else would waste. So I was able to sort of take that risk, and I was able to what you call push the frontiers, push the boundaries, and do all nonsense things in my life. So maybe that gut, maybe that what you call that chul, that
J. Krishnamurti, he talks about nurturing discontent. And that day in Life Divine, I was reading something that also pointed towards this कि there's something in us which feels that ठीक ही तो चल रहा है, तो बदल के करना क्या है? Life seems fine, things are all right. So here, JK says that we must nurture, if we are feeling discontent, we must nurture that discontent because we are not here for just, how since the beginning we feel that बचा के रखना है ना, the way we take care of our kids even. It's all about ये मत करो, वो मत करो, ये मत करो, मतलब, safety, 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 safety. Nature also is obviously trying for the safety. We are also through nature just going for safety, safety, safety. बचा के I don't have to die anyways, before time, after time, whatever time.
Yeah, what it is thing is that we are mowed down by this inertia kind of thing. Okay, that we are always taught that you take a safe career option, you take a career that which pays you money, and in all this, what you call a hula balloon is created around us, and we are not able to look in our own face, and we are not able to take a call on anything.
Hmm. Yeah. So just question that what has safety giving, what is safety really giving me? Just I think even that one would be a really good thing to just think about. Yeah, it's very ironical and interesting how we go for it and what the game is. So just coming back to the topic where it's 9 p.m. almost. So how we started that if we feel that if we have any chance of even connecting with that voice, that say Rumi is saying that there's a voice that doesn't use words, listen. We need to have some more clarity in our system, right? The other voices have to be less. I mean, all these practices that we are doing for more mindfulness, more awareness, more being present, they help us in getting that, silences, those moments in between in which something that needs to be heard can be heard. They say that each and every one of us, we have a purpose, a bigger purpose in life. Lot of people, when they have near death experiences and they come back, they say that, I was told this is my purpose, and they develop a lot of things. I mean, I was connected. I'm connected to a community in which I see that they were able to do that then. But why can't we do it initially? Because something about the comforts and the conformities, they just pull us in. So for me to be even able to hear that small voice that just points a bit or just says, no, 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 don't go there. We know it's not worth it. Because the ego's voice is so strong, right? It stands, like I was saying, with the Rani ki Jhansi sword in her hand and says, Kisko batana hai, batao? Who do I have to, beat up and stuff? But I've beaten so many. What have I gained? I don't know. Just more ego, just more ego, just more ego. Just more ego. There's nothing else I see there. So, when Shadaji was discussing about again the inner voice and how it's so confusing, I don't know, for me, I feel that firstly, the thing that we say that there's something when I'm thinking which expands me, and there's something which makes me feel this is not right, this is not right, it's not making me light. That helps. And if I'm connecting to things with silence, with some stillness, I know, I know I can hear the voice. I might choose not to hear it or believe it because it's so soft. And I'm so used to being and using force, right? In any argument, whoever is shouting the loudest feels he's winning. That's what I've seen. And I think this the quote even that I had put yesterday, I think that would also, here Sri Aurobindo is saying, not by reason was creation made, and not by reason can the truth be seen. So the inner voice would not be the most logical voice, because otherwise तो कोई इतना उसका वो ही नहीं है ना use. So not by reason was creation made, and not by reason, you want to see it, can the truth be seen. So we have to drop the mind in between and see what is making, I don't know, nonsense, but more sense to me. So it's already 9. I thought it will be a very short session today. Any last comments and we can end. I'm done from my end. Just hoping we can all connect more within and think more about it. It's tough, it's hard, and yet it seems like the only way forward is all I want to say. It's not easy, and nor is the life that I'm living. So I have to choose my easy, I have to choose my tough. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's it for us this time. Thank you so much, Sham, Sarda ji, Snehi, for coming and staying till the end. And yeah, if anything, I mean, I don't know, it's feeling a bit dull, but if there's anything, feel free to message me on the group or personally, and we can take things forward. Thank you. Have a good evening.